The readings recorded by Edgar Cayce concerning America feature predictions that experts assert are becoming evident today. Within the vast collection of his readings preserved at the ARE, numerous sessions touch upon the spiritual destiny of the nation. When you compare the developments currently occurring across America with these documented forecasts, the similarities are striking. Researchers analyzing Cayce's readings point out that he spoke of what is referred to as a spiritual transformation destined for America. This documented reading implies that this awakening would be evident in tangible ways. Many assert that if you've been observing the spiritual movements in America recently, you can discern patterns that align with these forecasts. Make sure to subscribe right now, as what I'm about to share originates directly from the recorded archives of America's most renowned psychic, and it will fundamentally alter your perception of what is truly transpiring in this country. I'd like to hear from you in the comments. Have you or anyone you know experienced unusually vivid dreams, developed a sudden interest in meditation, or had unexplained healing events in recent years? According to the insights provided by Cayce, these phenomena should be occurring among millions of Americans at this time. The Association for Research and Enlightenment, located in Virginia Beach, contains more than 14,000 recorded readings delivered by Edgar Cayce between 1901 and 1944. His remarkable accuracy regarding various predictions is well documented. Historical evidence indicates he made forecasts about economic situations prior to 1929, international conflicts, and other events, which have been examined by researchers for their striking precision. However, his recorded insights regarding America's spiritual evolution still captivate attention today, as numerous scholars identify patterns that appear to correspond with his observations. In the documented sessions from the ARE archives, Cayce spoke about what he referred to as the awakening of spiritual consciousness in America. His recorded remarks suggested that this signified the emergence of love, compassion, and spiritual understanding among the general population. His sessions detailed this awakening as something that could be noticed and quantified. Yet there's something even more remarkable about what Cayce predicted for America. Based on the documented sessions from the ARE, Cayce outlined periods when individuals in America started to encounter what his readings referred to as spiritual phenomena. These documented sessions detail how people began to exhibit heightened intuitive skills, healing talents, and a deeper connection to spiritual guidance, even among those who had no prior interest in spirituality. Since 2000, the Edgar Cayce Foundation has received thousands of testimonials reflecting experiences that resonate with the phenomena described in these readings. Individuals from diverse professions, engineers, educators, business leaders, and homemakers, report experiencing sudden psychic insights, healing capacities, and significant spiritual awakenings that fundamentally alter their perspectives. The statistics surrounding these experiences are truly astonishing. As reported by the Pew Research Center, the practice of meditation among adults in the United States has increased more than threefold since 1990. The proportion of Americans identifying as spiritual but not affiliated with any religion has risen from 9% in 1998 to more than 27% currently. The market for crystals, essential oils, and energy healing services has surged, evolving into a multi-billion-dollar enterprise. This development is not merely a cultural phenomenon. Based on Cayce's insights, it signifies the onset of the most profound shift in human consciousness ever recorded. However, this is where things become truly intense, and I will present the documented forecasts shortly. In his readings 3976-15, Cayce indicated that the spiritual awakening in America would coincide with what he termed the cleansing. This era would see the deterioration of outdated systems rooted in materialism and division, paving the way for new lifestyles grounded in spiritual values. Take a look at America now. Conventional institutions are diminishing in both credibility and power. Individuals are doubting various aspects of society, from healthcare to education and government. A significant transformation is occurring in the direction of natural healing, alternative spiritual practices, and community-oriented approaches to issues that governments and corporations struggle to address. Cayce believed that this disintegration isn't merely random disorder. Rather, it is an essential component of America's spiritual growth. In his 1942 work, There Is a River, Thomas Sugru chronicled how Cayce repeatedly emphasized that America has a unique spiritual mission. As per the readings, this nation was established as a test of spiritual liberty, with its ultimate aim being to illustrate how individuals can coexist harmoniously while respecting each person's spiritual development. This transforms our perspective on the current situation in America completely. According to Cayce, the political strife, economic instability, and social unrest are indicative of the emergence of a new type of consciousness in the nation, likened to the birth pangs of change. In his interpretation of reading 397619, he noted that significant spiritual growth is invariably preceded by visible disorder, as outdated structures break down and new ones take shape. However, what astonished even Cayce's closest colleagues regarding his forecasts for America was his assertion in reading 115211, delivered in 1939, which detailed how this spiritual awakening would occur in successive waves. The initial phase would consist of what he referred to as the sensitives, those who possess a natural tendency for spiritual encounters. Such individuals would start to cultivate psychic powers and healing abilities, which they would utilize to assist others in their awakening. Evidence from the AR archives indicates that this first phase commenced in the 1960s, alongside a surge of fascination with Eastern spirituality, meditation, and alternative healing practices. However, Cayce foresaw that the subsequent wave would be significantly grander and more impactful. Based on reading 262-136, the second wave is predicted to commence in the early 2000s, drawing in millions of everyday Americans who had not previously viewed themselves as spiritual. These individuals will undergo significant awakenings, emerging as teachers and healers within their communities, and promoting spiritual consciousness through their everyday actions and professions. However, stay tuned for the third wave, which Cayce mentioned would reach its peak around the mid-2020s. In reading 281-37, Cayce disclosed that this third wave would represent what he termed a mass awakening, a period during which spiritual abilities would become so prevalent that they would alter how Americans perceive reality, healing, relationships, and their sense of purpose. Current indications imply that this third wave is unfolding as we speak. Social media is overflowing with discussions on manifestation, energy healing, psychic experiences, and spiritual awakening. Leading medical organizations are integrating meditation, energy practices, and spiritual guidance into their treatment plans. Large companies are bringing on spiritual consultants and providing mindfulness training for their staff. This illustrates the significant shift in collective awareness that Cayce foresaw would revolutionize America. Below is a documented example that demonstrates how Cayce's insights regarding America's awakening are realized in real life. The archives of the Edgar Cayce Foundation house thousands of life readings where Cayce indicated that individuals had reincarnated during this period specifically to aid in the spiritual transformation of America. Numerous individuals later shared that they underwent the exact type of awakening and service work that Cayce had foretold for them. In his medical readings, documented across more than 9,000 cases, Cayce consistently illustrated that spiritual healing and physical well-being are intertwined. His comprehensive approach to health, which highlights the connection between mind, body, and spirit, has gained prominence in American healthcare over the last 20 years. However, the most profound aspect of Cayce's vision for America lies in his assertion, as mentioned in reading 976-27, that the spiritual awakening in America would ultimately impact the entire globe. He foresaw that the shifts in consciousness emerging in this nation would extend across the globe, leading to what he termed the New Earth, an existence grounded in spiritual values rather than materialism and rivalry. The proven accuracy of Cayce's various predictions lends credibility to this worldwide vision. He accurately anticipated the timing of significant historical milestones, technological advancements, and societal transformations with impressive accuracy. From Cayce's viewpoint, every American alive today opted to incarnate during this era, to take part in this change. Whether you are undergoing your own spiritual awakening or assisting others in theirs, your presence here contributes to the broader purpose of advancing human awareness. However, the key takeaway from Cayce's insights regarding the spiritual future of America is crucial. In his reading 262-25, he conveyed that the effectiveness of America's spiritual evolution hinges on individuals assuming accountability for their own consciousness growth. He underscored that personal spiritual advancement, through practices such as prayer, meditation, serving others, and exploring spiritual truths, forms the bedrock for societal improvement. The readings repeatedly highlight the importance of not waiting for external conditions to enhance. Instead, transformation commences with each individual's dedication to embodying spiritual principles in their everyday lives. This paradigm challenges the conventional wisdom regarding social change, which typically relies on political authorities, institutions, or movements to shape our desired reality. Cayce emphasized that it is the transformation of consciousness from grassroots levels that brings about true change in society. As more people cultivate spiritual awareness and engage in love-fueled actions, the broader culture begins to align with elevated values. Numerous documented instances from individuals who have embraced Cayce's teachings illustrate the efficacy of this principle in many lives. Those who dedicate themselves to consistent spiritual practices not only experience personal growth, but also witness beneficial shifts in their families, workplaces, and communities. What makes Cayce's insights regarding America especially pertinent for 2025 is noteworthy. As outlined in readings 1602-6, Cayce anticipated that the mid-2020s would signify a significant shift in America's spiritual evolution. He characterized this era as one where a spiritual awakening would become so prevalent that it would start to impact key decisions regarding the nation's path. Evidence of this influence is already apparent. Heightened environmental awareness, movements for social justice, alternative economic frameworks, and comprehensive approaches to education and healthcare are all achieving mainstream recognition at unprecedented speeds. These developments extend beyond mere political or social trends. According to the teachings of Cayce, these principles serve as a tangible manifestation of spiritual ideals applied to collective issues. This is where it connects profoundly with your own spiritual path in ways that are truly astonishing. In his message 281-24, Cayce disclosed that those undergoing spiritual awakenings during this era are, in fact, ancient souls reincarnated specifically to assist humanity in transitioning to a higher state of consciousness. He emphasized that these individuals possess cellular memories from past civilizations where spiritual values influenced societal structures. If you have felt a strong urge to hone your spiritual skills, aid others, or make a positive impact in the world, Cayce would interpret this as your soul recalling its higher potential for human civilization. The teachings of Edgar Cayce highlight that every spiritual experience, healing capability, or intuitive insight you cultivate contributes not just to your personal development, but also to the broader awakening of American consciousness. However, the most encouraging aspect of Cayce's vision for America relates directly to your life today. In reading 3976-18, he indicated that the spiritual evolution of America would lead to extraordinary opportunities for individuals to uncover and reveal their distinct spiritual talents. He foresaw that as this awakening unfolds, individuals would discover their true calling and receive encouragement in sharing their gifts with those in need. The surge of spiritual instructors, energy healers, intuitive advisors, and consciousness coaches seen throughout America exemplifies this very trend. Individuals are uncovering talents they were previously unaware of and discovering ways to assist others while also ensuring their own financial stability. From Cayce's viewpoint, this marks the inception of a spiritual economy in which individuals' livelihoods are in harmony with their soul's calling, purpose, and commitment to the greater welfare. The association dedicated to research and enlightenment persists to this day, preserving all of Cayce's reading archives and facilitating investigations into his teachings. Their documented case studies indicate that those who consistently implement Cayce's spiritual principles receive guidance regarding their life's purpose, encounter opportunities to assist others, and experience synchronicities that foster their spiritual growth. Whether the transformation in America unfolds gradually or in a more pronounced manner, the spiritual awakening predicted by Cayce is already impacting the lives of millions across the nation. The central idea from his readings is that we are not mere onlookers to this change. Rather, we are engaged participants whose spiritual growth plays a vital role in the collective advancement. The Cayce readings convey that the spiritual awakening occurring in America has a significance that extends beyond the nation itself. As consciousness broadens in this region, it establishes a model for spiritual civilization that has the potential to resonate globally, ultimately culminating in the millennium of peace foretold in numerous spiritual doctrines. According to the teachings documented by Cayce, each meditation you engage in, every act of kindness you offer, and each time you opt for love instead of fear, contributes to this overarching spiritual evolution. Your personal awakening is intertwined with America's awakening, which, in turn, is connected to the progress of humanity toward elevated consciousness. The indications imply that the events Edgar Cayce foresaw for America in 2025 are not on the horizon. They are already unfolding. There is a growing spiritual awakening, an expansion of consciousness, and countless Americans are uncovering their spiritual gifts to assist others. The real issue is no longer about whether this change is occurring. As per the recorded Cayce predictions, it is actively taking place. The focus now shifts to the speed and fluidity of this development, which relies heavily on the number of people dedicated to their personal spiritual growth and serving those around them. Through validated forecasts and recorded case studies, the insights from Edgar Cayce offer guidance for personal spiritual advancement, as well as aiding in the evolution of collective consciousness in America. The crucial aspect is to prioritize the enhancement of your own spiritual skills while seeking ways to contribute to the broader community. If this journey through Edgar Cayce's insights regarding America's spiritual prospects has sparked fresh realizations, please like this video. Share it with someone open to spiritual awakening and subscribe for additional content focused on established spiritual teachings. Your involvement assists in disseminating genuine spiritual knowledge to those ready for expanded consciousness. Keep in mind that as per Cayce's insights, you decided to be present during the spiritual evolution of America for a higher reason. Have faith in that purpose and permit your spiritual abilities to play a role in the awakening that is already in motion.